Today's guest, Kirsten Rincon, a powerhouse creative, business owner, videographer, and unapologetic karaoke queen. She's the founder of Media Corner, where she helps brands cut through the noise with intentional, visually driven storytelling that actually connects. But behind the camera, Kirsten's own story is just as compelling. In this episode, we dive into her transformation from hard-hitting journalist to sought-after visual storyteller. We explore her deeply personal battle with chronic pain and dysfunction, the kind doctors couldn't explain, and how she found healing by reimagining her environment, habits, and mindset. It's a conversation about creativity, resilience, and reclaiming your health when no one else has the answers. Let's get into it. Kirsten, how are you?
I'm doing great, Armando. Thank you so much for having me.
No, my pleasure. I thank you for being on. It's great to see your face again. It's been a bit.
It has.
So I wanted to have you on the podcast because you had a really interesting glimpse into um, what life was like with pain and kind of the freedom post pain of what that's like. And I was wondering if you can kind of share a little bit about um, like, first of all, who you are, what you do, like what does your life look like? So we get a glimpse of the person first.
Okay, so as you already mentioned, I'm a videographer. So half of my work is out on the field shooting different clients, different events, and half of my life is sitting right here where you see me at my office in my desk. So I have a little bit of like the two kind of hardships of like either carrying a lot of heavy equipment around on my back or sitting in this position for very long periods of time. So it's like the worst of both worlds. So that's pretty much like how I go about my day to day. I am a very active person and I do work out, 5 times a week. I get my walks in. So I do what I can for sure to like balance myself out. But if I don't do that, I will easily fall into that trap of pain, of constant lingering pain, which is why I was gravitated towards you because I was really suffering with that at the time.
You, just out of curiosity, do you have some strategies that let you, or signs that let you know that, like, hey, I've been sitting for too long, or I've been carrying this stuff for too long? Like, is there something that your body tells you, or are you putting something externally in place to kind of help remind you so you don't hang out for too long in either one of those places?
Um, well, I prepare myself now in the sense of if I know I'm going to be shooting a very long event, I always have my guard, like the belt with me that carries the gimbal inside of it, and that helps alleviate a lot of the load. And obviously, I'll put the camera down as much as I can whenever I have breaks and stuff like that. So, like, I have more consciousness about it now than I used to have. I kind of just used to kind of like deal with the pain. Whereas now I'm like, I can't just deal with the pain. I have to make sure that I'm giving my body breaks in order for me to not have chronic pain. And then as far as sitting, there are definitely signs when I'm sitting for too long. I've even had like dizzy spells. So it's gotten as bad as that, but like just the regular like aches up in the trap area that you get just from being in this position, kind of like hunched over for too long and things like that. And that's when I'll be like, all right, gotta go for a walk or gotta just move my body or do a dynamic stretch, whatever that is to not, you know, sit with that pain for too long.
Got it. Cool. So actually, why don't you break that down? What what were you experiencing that made you want to come and seek my help out? Like, what were you experiencing and what was it preventing you from doing?
Yeah, so it was this very dull pain all in my trap and upper back area. It was like it felt like I had someone like sitting on top of my back, just
Mhm.
hanging out there all day. It's just very uncomfortable. And it was really affecting my sleep. So once it started affecting my sleep, I started realizing, okay, this is like a real problem that I need to take care of because I'm a sleepyhead. I love to sleep. And so I really wanted to get that sorted. And I just was so uncomfortable day to day, and I just knew that this wasn't a normal feeling. I shouldn't be feeling that way. So that's why I reached out to you because I had seen you in the gym and I knew you were a really good, well-known physical therapist at the gym. So, yeah, that's what led me to you.
Cool. And um, I guess had you ever have you ever gotten help before for any of this stuff? No?
I've never seen any kind of professional. The most I've done is get like a massage, like deep tissue massage, which, I would think would kind of alleviate some of the tension. But other than that, no, nothing.
So what was different? You first day you came in, we did an assessment.
Mhm.
And what about that assessment kind of made you think like, oh shoot, yeah, I need to go ahead and do this? Like, was there something different that you saw there that it was like, oh yeah, we're heading a different path here?
Yeah, I think something that was really special about the work that you do in particular was that you helped me understand like I'm not going to fix you by rubbing your back and making you feel good in this moment. That's not going to help you because that's like what I really wanted was just rub me like I'm in so much pain, but you like
Oh,
had to
yeah, I
explain
remember
to
that
me. You
conversation.
remember? Yeah.
I go, I promise we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah. And you were just like, I will do a little bit of that, but that's not where the real work is going to be done. The real work is going to be done with all of these different strategies and tools and methodologies that I'm going to teach you that you are going to incorporate into your daily life.
Yeah.
And so that was what was really cool to me that I learned through working with you was that you really gave me like my power back. Like you have the power to fix this. Obviously, you need to be taught, which is what you did, was teach me and figure out, okay, this is what's going on. This is the kind of exercises that you need to do before in the morning and in the evening. And then you assessed my working situation, my posture at my desk. I mean, this setup that I have now with the stool underneath where my feet aren't dangling anymore, and even this back support has changed my life. Like I no longer sit here with so much pain as I used to. And then I also have the other orthopedic, like what do you call the one that you told me to purchase from Amazon?
Oh, the kneeling chair.
The kneeling chair, which has also been like a really good one to just switch off with just for a little while. I can't be on that one for long periods of time, but it's good to, just be on it for like 10, 20 minutes and then switch. So it's just, you've helped me change my day-to-day setup and you've helped me incorporate different ways to help myself kind of like assess, okay, this is what's wrong. These are the exercises that I need to do to help myself like recalibrate and fix the issues that are triggering the pain.
I think it's fascinating. Like, I remember when we talked about your setup because you're not the tallest of people and chairs tend to be a little bit higher for you. And we
Yep.
kind of, I was like, can you send me a picture of your workstation? And when you sent it to me with you hanging there, I was like, oh, yeah, this is a problem. Especially like if you're going to do that for 5 minutes, it's not a big deal, but you're there for hours.
Yeah,
So we need to get you in the best possible place so that you're not fatiguing what shouldn't be fatiguing and you can do the work that you need to do, right?
exactly.
And just being able to move you forward on the chair, being able to bring the floor up to your feet so that you actually have support, I think was a huge thing. And the fact that you do so much intensive work in front of a screen, I think is critical as far as from a decreasing irritants and
Totally.
optimizing environment, right?
Exactly.
I think the other one was the belt, right? Remember
Yep.
it's like some kind of harness belt to rest the tripod or the gimbal on it.
So it's not a harness. It doesn't go over the shoulders. It's just a belt, but it has like a kind of like a little hole section that I could insert the gimbal into and lean it on it so that all I'm doing is just holding the gimbal like so that it doesn't fall to the floor. but all the extra weight of it and like the me having to balance myself with it is gone. It's alleviated now with that belt on. So it really, really helps.
So tell me, like, you, if I remember right, like within the first few weeks, your neck pain was gone, and then
Yeah.
something else popped up. If I'm mistaken, it was your hip or your back. Was that?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm trying to remember too. What was it?
It was, or
I
your,
remember the headaches.
oh, the headaches. Yeah.
Was it the headaches though, or was it because there was something else?
No, there was the knee. I think it was the knee. Was it your
The
knee?
knee?
Your hip, your hip or your back, right there. Anyways, there was something else because I remember that we got through the head and the neck shoulder thing fairly
Yeah.
quick, and then
Yep.
something
Yep.
else popped up,
Something else happened. Yeah.
and then you're like, "Hey, can we work on this? Because my neck feels great, but now my back and my hip hurts."
Yeah. I don't think it was in the lower body. I think it was still in the upper body. Wasn't it the chest press that I did?
That's what it was. That's what it was. It was a chest press, but then
Oh,
what did you get? You got something on your, no, you started having the headaches and the dizziness for a while.
yeah.
It was.
Yeah. But I don't remember exactly, I cannot remember exactly the pain point that I had. The headaches were traumatizing enough that I still remember them. That was, I mean, I went to the doctor that you had recommended me because it was so bad and it was exercise induced, which was the weirdest part about it. It was as soon as I started lifting heavy, I just got hit with this crazy headache
Yeah,
and that kind of resolved on its own naturally, but it was very strange.
right. Did,
Yeah.
now, I want to touch into this because it's, yes, you sit there behind the screen and you're working with a camera, but you also like push yourself. Tell me, why don't you share a little bit about kind of the workouts that you do, what you're training for?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much doing like traditional strength training right now. I'm not doing any Olympic lifting or anything like that. I'm just doing your regular compound lifts like deadlifts, back squats, hip thrusts, bench press, and all the accessory work that goes with those. But I try to push the weight as much as I can. And I've been training, doing a mixture of CrossFit and strength training for like over 10 years now. So like I'm familiar with it. It's not something that's like new. So I'm like not scared to push the weight a little. But I guess then I, need to learn when to not go crazy and understand that like my body needs rest and this and that. But yeah, that's the kind of training that I do. And in terms of what I'm training for just my life and for my health. But specifically right now, I'm training to lose a few pounds for my wedding, which is coming up next month, which I'm eloping. So I'm excited.
Well, congratulations. 2 more months.
Thank you. Yes.
So, um, I guess, when I think about this is that because you were right from the start, you were pretty open about doing what I was sharing with you is like, hey, this is a little bit odd, but I'm willing to do it. Um, I guess the question that I'd have is what was, I guess, not the scariest, but what was the oddest thing that you were like, this does makes no sense, but it works. Why does this work? Do you remember anything that kind of stands out that you were at the beginning skeptical but willing to try?
Uh, I'm very like woo, so it's very hard to make it so that I'm like skeptical of it. But I guess what I really one of my favorite movements was the heel drops that you had me do.
Okay,
Because that really put into perspective, like it just gave me a sense of like I'm recalibrating my body. I literally feel it when I do it. So I wouldn't say it's the one I was most skeptical of, but I thought it was the most interesting one and like the one that I genuinely felt something was happening as I was doing it.
got it.
You
Got it.
know?
Okay, here's I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you still do them?
Okay. I I I do them if I have pain. I don't do them on my regular day to day, but if I wake up and I start having like actually right now, I'm feeling a little bit of like that dullness on this side. So I did some exercises that you've taught me this morning. So like I'll do it on and off,
Got
depending on how my body feels, which I know I should probably just do it anyway, no matter what. But I'm not that good at doing it every day.
So I guess, was there a big difference between, like, what are you doing different now that you weren't able to do when you were in pain?
So, well, the thing is that I would kind of push through. So there wasn't really anything that I couldn't do with the pain because I was just doing it anyway. But it was just making it worse. So I would say like I just have so much more of a comfortable day to day in what I do. And the setup has really like changed my life. And it's so crazy how like something so simple can really change how you feel every single day.
Right.
So I'm super thankful for all the work that you've done and helped me and just fixed my whole life.
Good, good.
Yeah.
You mentioned you did massage therapy, and there's a place for massage therapy, but I guess what was different about going through the process with me versus when you would get like a massage therapy session down? Like, what was different as far as the lasting effects, I guess?
Oh my gosh, so much is different from those two experiences. Because in a massage bed, you're just enjoying the session and just laying there and being touched and your pain points are being triggered, but like you're not learning anything. You don't know what's actually wrong with you.
Right.
And you don't really even know what they're doing or what they're working on. So like there's no kind of information you're learning at all. So you take home nothing with you other than like a little bit of relief, which tomorrow you're probably going to get it again because it's not a long-term solution. So with you, it's that. It's the knowledge of having those conversations with you, of you analyzing like what it is that, how we live our lives, what's our day to day, what is causing you to have pain, finding the root cause, and then teaching us why it's happening and how best we can help alleviate the pain long term. You're just giving the power back to your clients. And I think that that's what's so special about what you do and so much more valuable than going and getting a massage.
Yeah. And again, I don't want anybody listening to this to think that massage is a bad thing. There's a time and a place for it, but it's it's symptom work, not causal work. And I think it's always important when we're trying to resolve a problem, you have to go to the root of the problem, right? Because if um, you can, as a videographer, you could do a lot of magic behind the scenes, but it's a lot more work, and it's not going to be like, if you have crappy audio, you can play around with it, but if you got good audio right from the beginning, it'll be easier and it's still going to come out better, right? The same thing
Totally.
with the lighting. If you have better lighting, it's a lot less work. It's a lot less work for you, and actually the shot will come out better. You're not having to play around with the shadows and all, whatever. I don't know your your magic behind the scenes there, but like, and I think that that's really the thing that sets apart somebody like you, like, you know, in your profession, in my profession, people who, like I like to say, go against the herd. It's like everybody does it this way. How are we thinking different so that, number one, we get a better quality result. Number two, we have greater and deeper impact that is lasting. Um, I guess one of the questions for you from, how do you view going against, or how do you approach going against the herd in your business, when you're approaching a client?
Um, I guess I would say I go against the herd by trying to tell a story in a different way than what the client is probably coming to me for, which is like what they're seeing, like standard video styles. And I kind of like push them a little more to be like, but what if you did it like this, where it's like more of like letting someone get to know you in a more intimate way to actually be able to connect with the person. Because that's the whole goal of social media, is to connect with the viewer and to form a relationship via the screen so that you build trust and so that you can sell your service and ultimately help that person with whatever it is that you're servicing. So I think that that's how I kind of I go against the herd with my clients, specifically in the work that I do.
Yeah. I'm going to kind of share some of the experience because I was able to do some work with you as well. And if I could share some of that experience, because I think it may lend an insight into the against the herd mentality. And I think what one of the things that somebody like me, who is not a professional in that world, it's like my natural tendency would be to say the thing. And when you're talking about visually, I remember you saying, like, hey, how do we show this? Like, saying it is cool, but how do we show it both in visuals, but also in tone? I said, you're going to get a lot more from telling a story that illustrates it than just give me the raw, the raw direction. In other words, like I can either say, hey, doing this is going to make you jump higher, or I can say, hey, you know what? This is John. He's gone through this, he's been struggling with this, and this. This is the way he started jumping. Now look at how much he's jumping now, and he has no pain. Okay, great. Like there's a visual. He was jumping like this with pain. Now he's jumping like this, no pain. You don't have to say a lot of things, but I got to see it and it was like, oh, okay, I get that. I get that. And I think one of the things that you do well is you're able to see what the person, your client, doesn't necessarily see. Like you hear what they want, they tell you what they think it should be, and then again, you don't force anything, but you're like, hey, have you thought about this? Here's why. And if you're smart, if the person is smart, they'll listen to you because you know what you're doing. Like
Right.
this is what you do, and you have a unique eye on that. And I think that's one of the things that stood out about you is your ability to kind of see what's not being said and find a way to bring it out so that everybody else can see it. In other words, there are some people that can see the underlying things that are happening. What you've done well is been able to peel the layers so that now more people can see that without having the same abilities that you have on seeing the story behind the story. And so you can tell that story quite well.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I that's what I try to do. So to hear that from your, experience with working with me makes me really happy because that's what I try to do.
What got you into this line of work?
So I've always been a very creative person. I grew up dancing, singing, acting, and I was convinced I was going to be a pop star one day. Yeah, that's another story. But
What?
um,
No, we have a camera. We have a
yeah.
stage. Come on.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I was just very into like theater, musical theater, and writing songs and choreographing. So I really was convinced like I was going to be in the arts somehow, some way. Life happens. My parents divorced. I kind of jumped from living with my mom to living with my dad, and my dad was kind of like, "You need to find a real job. Like you can't, like that's not a real job." He didn't think that that like made sense. So I was like, "Oh, well, I've never thought about what a real job I would work is, so now I have to think about it." And I was always writing in my diary since I was little. I loved writing, like writing everything that would happen to me and all of my experiences. So I was like, well, I like to write. So maybe I could do something with writing. But for some reason, I didn't gravitate towards like an English major or like literature, storytelling in that way. I gravitated towards journalism and reporting real stories rather than making them up. So I joined the newspaper in high school and I got into the writing side of it. And then I went on to college and I was majoring in journalism. And within that curriculum, I had to take a documentary filmmaking class. And that's what it like I got the epiphany of like, okay, this is the direction I would love to go in because it's visual and it's way more creative and it incorporates kind of all the different stuff that I like into this format of storytelling. And the rest is history.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And do you still write in your journal?
I do. I still do journaling. Now it's called journaling. Before it was writing in your diary. Now it's journaling.
Especially
And
because it has a
I
little lock.
invented it, guys. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It has a little lock.
Yeah, a little lock, of course.
It's pink, right?
No, it's not pink.
No, no.
I'm not a pink girl.
Oh, not a pink. Okay.
Not a pink girl.
Got it.
No,
No Hello Kitty,
no,
nothing like that.
no Hello Kitty.
Cool. So
No.
wait, so in that creative realm, we know that you do the videography and the storytelling there. What's something that people would be surprised that you do, if anything?
Mm, hmm. What's something people would be surprised I do?
Yeah.
That I
Hobby,
do.
weird, creative outlet.
I mean, I love to sing.
Oh, anything in
So
particular? Like, are you singing show tunes? Are you singing like regular pop songs? What do you?
yeah, like I mean, I pretty much will sing like anything, but like I gravitate more towards pop. I'm a 90s baby through and through, so like I love me a good pop song. And but I'll pretty much like sing anything. I love like Broadway shows and watching musicals. So that's maybe something about me that no one knows or would think. I don't know. I don't go around singing everywhere, so it's not like an obvious thing.
Your life is a musical.
Yes, exactly.
So, okay, wait. So with that in mind, favorite musical and favorite, let's put favorite song to sing to. How's that?
All right, favorite musical is Cats.
Cats.
The Broadway show, not the movie, because I haven't even watched the movie because I'm scared to watch it because I don't want it to ruin it for me, but I've heard it's terrible. So, Broadway show, okay? I had it on VHS. I would play it over and over and over and over again. Okay, so that's favorite musical, favorite song to sing to. That's hard. That's really hard.
Okay, one that you enjoy. It doesn't have to be your favorite, so we don't have to be so definitive, but one that you've sung to more than than many other songs.
Okay. Um, I love Christina Aguilera. She's my favorite singer, so I'm gonna go with a Christina Aguilera song called "I Turn to You" that I dedicated to my mom. That's a
Wow.
good one. I don't sing that one really well because it's a really hard one to sing, but I give it my best.
All right, so wait, if you're at a karaoke bar, what's the song you're gonna put on? It could be fun, it could be, but you're gonna have a song there. I don't know
Yeah,
how.
I'm pretty much down for like most songs. That's why it's hard. Um, karaoke. Dang, I'm drawing a blank. I'm drawing a blank. No.
Are you gonna be singing Bon Jovi "Living on a Prayer"? That's always a classic. Or are you gonna go more like more
I'm probably gonna
pop?
go for like a Spanish song, to be honest. I love me a good Spanish song in karaoke.
Okay, wait. So good Spanish song uh like a reggaeton?
No.
No, not like that. Okay,
No.
got it.
No,
Okay.
no, 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 no. Like more like Luis Miguel,
Ooh,
a good
okay.
one. Yeah, like some give me a good ballad, you know?
And you're on the higher range or lower range on that?
Um, well,
You hit
middle.
high notes, middle. Okay,
Yeah, middle.
got it. Hence the difficulty of Christina Aguilera.
Yes, very difficult, but she's the best.
Or okay, so if you had Christina Aguilera, she was influenced by Whitney Houston. So are you a Whitney Houston fan or not?
Absolutely love Whitney Houston. I love all of the divas. anyone who can sing, I'm a fan.
You're a fan.
So Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Christina Aguilera, Celine Dion. I love Celine Dion so much, and I'm so sad about what's going on with her. I don't know if you know about her health struggles right now.
Like battling cancer for a long time. Is she still, or was it cancer or some her?
She has some form of disease that cripples her, like she has no control over her like bones and joints and stuff. And so like her throat is being affected by that as well. So I don't know if she can sing as she used to anymore because of this. That's so heartbreaking.
Yeah,
But she is iconic.
got it. Would you
Yeah.
go all the way to an Andrea Bocelli?
Oh, I love Andrea Bocelli. I don't know if I can't sing that. I wouldn't even try it, but I love him. He's amazing.
Wasn't he the one that he sang with her, right?
He did.
That was beautiful. It was them too, right?
Yeah, I think he sang with Celine Dion. I think he sang with Christina Aguilera as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
So there's a famous one. What is the one that they sing in Italian and is it I can't remember the name of the song now.
I can't remember either.
That she sings the obviously, well, she can sing French, but
Yeah.
she sings the English part and he sings the Italian part, and I can't remember.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. I know the one you're talking about, but I don't know the name either.
Got it. All
But
right.
yeah, that's a beautiful one.
So we established you're a singer. When was the last time you got on stage?
Oh my gosh, years.
Well,
Um,
let me say, sang it doesn't have to be like a proper stage, but that you're singing in front of people that is not just people that can hear you from the shower.
Sing in front of people, like karaoke, does that count?
Yeah.
Okay, so like 2 Christmases ago, we went a little crazy with karaoke.
2 Christmases? That means 2 years ago,
2 years
at
ago.
least. Oh,
Yeah,
come on, this is
I know.
you gotta put that in more often.
You're right. I'm gonna go do karaoke as soon as we finish this podcast.
Seriously, look, it's
I
such an
know.
important part of your life, and it opens up creative juices. Why not?
So true. Yeah, that and dancing, I love, like it's when I feel most like my inner child. So
Okay.
you're right. You're like my therapist telling me that I need to do this one.
Actually, wait, now that you say that this is a great transition into this, where
Yeah.
this idea of you bring out the inner child, right? This idea of play, this idea of freedom, like a child is free, a child plays, they're not really thinking about, hey, what is this person going to think of me? Like they just do it and they be, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the biggest things that I try and have conversations with my clients is this idea of this freedom, because when you're in pain, there is one of my clients actually said this, which I thought was heartbreaking, but very powerful. And that when you have chronic pain, it feels like you're being held hostage by your body.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you want to do things, you want to feel things, and you just are being imprisoned by your body. The thing
Mm-hmm.
that is supposed to allow you to be free to move is the thing that's holding you down.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are not expressing that inner child, it's hard for the body to let go. And so that's why we were having
Mm.
this conversation. It kind of morphed from one thing to the other, where we were able to uncover that you're going to be the next American Idol. And we need to get you back up on stages, right? Like just so that you can continue to feed that inner child, but continue to feed something that feeds your soul. And I think it's one of the places that the health space has done a very poor job. Actually, medicine has done a really poor job in communicating the many different levels that we operate as humans. There is physical, which is what everybody thinks about. There is the emotional, there is the mental, there is the spiritual, right? Then we have relational. Like these are 5 areas just right off the bat that we're operating at all times. But if we look at from the medical profession, all they deal with is the physical. And I would say that even like a lot of the psychological and mental health stuff is a lot of it is centered around medication. So it's not really diving into the mental, emotional, and spiritual part. Maybe some,
Yeah.
but I think a lot of it is like only what you can see, the physical part. And I think it's a big disservice because we are, multidimensional, let's call it. And a big part of that is what's happening emotionally, what's happening mentally, what's happening spiritually. Again, whether you're religious or not, we're energy. Like we're made up of energy. And if you believe in something greater, even better. Like for me, that God is an important part of my life, right? So if you're really uncertain about any one of these areas, if you're not feeling clear, it becomes like a burden. You said it felt like somebody was sitting on my shoulders or grabbing right there, right?
Mhm.
And that's very much tied to emotional. It's very much tied to the mental and the spiritual. Why? Because think of everything that we do as like collecting different things. So imagine you have a backpack, right? And every time you have a trauma, a memory that didn't go so well, like you put it in there, in the bag, and it starts weighing you down year after year after year because you keep putting stuff in there. Very few people take the time to take the bag off and do spring cleaning. It's like, hey, do I need this anymore? Is it has it lost its purpose? If it's no longer serving me, can I just set it down?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever experienced that? Like this, the difference between an emotional release where you're like, oh, like I feel so much lighter.
Oh my gosh, totally. I've experienced it multiple times. Um, I do like a lot of work on with like my inner child and things like that, because it continues to creep up in my day-to-day life. So there's so many moments where I've physically felt the letting go of something from when I was a child that was holding me down till now, and that instant release that you get from it. It's wild. And it's like that. I don't know if you've read the book, The Body Keeps the Score.
That's phenomenal.
That's it. It's an amazing book. Sorry, there's a fly. And it really is that. And it's so incredible when you like experience it. You experience how powerful it is to work on healing those things that you've suppressed deep down, and you actually get physical relief from it, aside from the emotional relief you
Right.
get as well.
Right. Yeah, but think about it because it's literally weight lifted off your shoulders. I mean, you
Yeah.
train. I'm sure whenever you're squatting, there's a big difference when you have that bar on your back, especially when it's a heavy day and you rack it and now you don't have it on. It's like, oh, that's nice not having that on.
Yeah.
But if you're
Yeah.
squatting heavy and you feel it compressing
Yeah.
your spine right on your traps, and you're like, oh, and then you set it down and you're like, oh man, it's like your spine springs back up, feeling vibrant again.
Exactly. And it's like, it's just teaching people that, which you do such a good job of like teaching people that like you have the power inside of you, but you need to do your homework and assess what's really wrong here. Because it could be a combination of many things. It could be your inner child that's severely wounded from whatever experiences you may have gone through, in combination with your current work, your current lifestyle, your current this. So it's a multitude of things. We're so complex as beings, but like that's why it's so important for everyone to be responsible as much as they can for themselves and healing themselves with the help and guidance of professionals like you who have so much knowledge.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you for sharing uh, your hidden gifts. Thank you for sharing your experience. If somebody is looking to tell their story, if somebody is looking for somebody to help them tell their story, and they've connected with you and they're like, hey, I'd like to find out a little bit more about you, what you do, how you do it, what's the best place for them to go? Or
Yeah, so I have a website that pretty much is my portfolio and it has a little bit about me, and you can also contact me via the website. And the link is www.mymediacorner.com. And so I'm happy to, have a call with somebody who wants to learn more about my services, who might have connected me via this podcast and would like to bring their story to life. And I really want to help bring that vision to whoever would like it. So I'm here to help. Happy to help.
wonderful, wonderful. So we'll put all that information on the show notes. And thank you again, Kirsten, for hopping on this call, sharing your experience. I'm happy that we were able to transform your environment within your workspace and also give you the tools that you need to heal so that you have the freedom to do the things that you love and now getting ready for your wedding.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Armando. You're the best. I'm honored to be on your podcast.
No, my pleasure. All right, guys, we'll catch you later. And let's keep pushing out there and going against the herd.
You've just heard another unfiltered dose of the Against the Herd podcast. If you're tired of playing by the rules that keep you stuck, make sure to subscribe, leave a review. Want to go deeper? Head over to cruisecountry.com and take your health and performance to a level most people think is impossible. Remember, stay bold, stay sharp, and always question the norm.